Hey, what's going on, fam? So this video is going to be part 3 of the No Black Agenda, No Vote over Operation Down Ballot video. Reason why I got to do a part 3 is because a couple people have come attempting to respond to my video and debunk it, and they said a lot of things that are not a lot of things, but a few things that I want to address just to go ahead and clear up some confusion and keep everything on task. So today, um, I was notified via comment from a guy named 42 Tribes, who apparently I've accused of trolling before because he probably was trolling or appearing to troll. And I can tell based off his video why I would have gotten quickly annoyed with him in the comment section. But anyway, he respected my wishes. He must have listened to my video, and he went out and he made a response video since he had a lot to say. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and respond to his video and respond to some of the untruths that he said and clarify some things just in case anybody else wants to repeat these untruths, and just still see if I can't get my question answered. So I'm going to put the link in the description box. Again, this guy's name is 42 Tribes. I'm going to put the link to his channel in the description box. Um, it's a 35-minute video, but in the first 10 minutes, it's full of misrepresentations and lies. Then he kind of sticks in a bunch of other stuff that's off topic. I'm not here to go off topic because I'll be making a 2-hour video if I try to address all his off topic points. But if anyone wants to, thinks I'm trying to avoid a certain point or whatever, you can go listen to the whole video and you can point out whatever I'm trying to avoid or not address, and I'll address it. I'll either address it in the comments or I'll address it in a part 4. Hopefully I don't have to make 4 or 5 parts to this video, but I'll do whatever I feel I need to do until I just give up and feel like you're not going to get it no matter what I say. Um, but anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what he said in this video, just a few points that I actually want to address. So one of the first things that he said that I actually want to address is he said, I said no black agenda, but I didn't explain it. Let me go ahead and explain it now, because there's no need to explain it. You see, and I'm still using the same screenshot because I want to drive a point home. I'm not just doing it because I'm lazy. I'm using the same screenshot because I want to drive a point home. On the screenshot you see up on the screen, it says Democratic down ballot. If you have a fairly reasonable strategy that's supposed to get to the masses and be able to reach the masses, you should not have to do any extra explanation. Now, don't get me wrong, because I understand these kind of strategies of not voting, period, require, or voting in a certain way require explanation, no matter how much you simplify it into a phrase. But overall, you should, with very little explanation, you should not need to write a book explaining 3 words, Operation Down Ballot. You should not need to make 4 2-hour videos explaining Operation Down Ballot, which again, I know Yvette and Tone have explained several times, and this guy tries to use that as a defense. Tone has gone over it. It's so nuanced. But why does he have to do all that explanation? What do I mean? When I say no black agenda, no vote, it is exactly what it means. You have no black agenda, you get no black vote. It doesn't require much further explanation than that. Yes, some people may need to have explained to them why you need a black agenda, so I get that part. But for the most part, in general, if you at least understand why you need a black agenda, you don't need to explain any further than that. But when you have to say Democrat down ballot, then you have to put in all these explanations how it doesn't mean vote Democrat down ballot. Do you not see the problem here? How simple or how hard is this to understand? Which again, this is why I get irritated with people, because it's like either you don't have the mental capacity to understand what I'm saying, or you don't want to understand what I'm saying because you have a extreme bias against what I'm saying, so you don't want to understand it. And you're going to keep coming up with rebuttals until I give up and give in to you, or I block you, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to block you and delete your comments. You can say I can't handle what you're saying or whatever, but you and I both know that you were trolling. because you had an extreme bias. Again, why are you saying Democrat down ballot? This is not me lying on Tone and Yvette. This is not me misrepresenting what they said. That's exactly the words that came out their mouth. Now, yes, I know there's 3 hours worth of explanation that's attached, but my question is why? When I say no black agenda, no vote, that's easy to understand. When you guys say Democrat down ballot, you have to do a bunch of explanation on what you really mean and how you got to do your research and all of this stuff. Why? Why can't you just say do your research? But anyway, then this brother says the agenda doesn't come from outside. Dude, first of all, we all know that ADOS has an agenda. So you touting ADOS101.com, that's Captain Obvious stuff. It doesn't matter how many agendas you came up with or Tone came up with. The actual politicians have to enact them. And why, again, all these politicians are coming up with their own black agendas. They're not using ADOS101.com. All politicians, Bernie Sanders came up with his own Medicare for All agenda. Kamala Harris has a policy page full of policies because the politician has to come with the plan. They don't go to the people and ask them to draft policy for them. So yes, the politician has to have the plan. So for you to do all this talking about, we already got a black agenda. This is why I get frustrated with people, because I shouldn't even have to deal with this kind of talking point. I shouldn't even have to deal with this kind of talking point. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. I can come up with 6 million black agendas. It doesn't matter unless a politician picks it up. And for you to have this bizarre standard where we have to come up with the agenda. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have an agenda to come up with as an alternative or as a way to rebut and show that their agenda, that these other politicians' agenda is not actually a black agenda. But that does not discount no black agenda, because as I said at the beginning, the politician has to have the agenda. That's why for every other policy except reparations, because they're anti-black and have no intention to support reparations, which is why I say no black agenda, no vote. They come up with their own policies. Nobody has to go to MedicareForAll.com and ask the Medicare activists. They can go to Kamala and ask her for her version of the plan. Elizabeth Warren for her version of the plan. The reason why these politicians come up with these plans is because this is what they feel is the best version. Sometimes they do get it from other people and professors and policy strategists and whatever. Yes, sometimes they do come up with their policies with the help of certain think tanks and stuff. But at the end of the day, they have to present their own policies and their own versions of policies that is going to contrast them against other politicians. They come up with that. We don't. Yes, they may adopt something that somebody has given to them. And yes, they may even adopt what has come off of ADOS101.com. But they have to say, I am going to have this agenda before you vote for them. That is the point. No matter how they came up with it. So for you, it's a non sequitur. It's a distraction. For you to be coming up with this, oh, you gotta, we already got an agenda, and you saying no black agenda. Dude, you're straw manning. You're going on a totally different thing than what I'm saying. Nobody's arguing about whether or not we have a black agenda at all. Yes, we know what the agenda is, but the politicians have to show that they support it. Again, you're trying to make it as complex as Operation Down Ballot when it's not. That's why you got to do all this. You can't microwave ADOS. You can't microwave ADOS. Basically meaning you can't understand it simply because it's double talk. That's really what you're saying. You can't understand it in a simplified explanation because it's double talk. We can't explain it. That's what you mean when you say you can't microwave ADOS. That's why you got to distract on these things about whether or not we already have a black agenda. We can have 8 million black agendas. It don't matter unless one of the politicians are willing to run on it and push it. Or many politicians, our congressmen. And then one of the few last things, and I'm about to wrap this video up because I can't take going back and forth with dudes too long. But then he starts babbling about Obama and how Tone understood Obama. And first of all, he started crying about the fact that I said you have to have a logical rebuttal. You do have to have a logical rebuttal, a logical debunking. Debunking means you disprove, not you cast doubt. So you crying about how I said that you have to have a logical rebuttal. The reason why you're sensitive to that, brother, is because you don't want to have a logical rebuttal. You just want to be able to argue with me no matter what. You don't want to have a logical rebuttal. That's why you have a problem with me saying logical rebuttal. Then you started babbling about how Tone understood not to vote for Obama. But Yvette Carnell didn't understand not to vote for reparations aren't feasible Bernie Sanders up until a couple of months ago or a year ago. She was voting for Bernie in 2016. So please don't brag about who was voting for who or who had what political consciousness when. When I did my video asking why is Tariq Nasheed tweeting ADOS is MAGA, I saw a lot of videos of Yvette Carnell saying extremely problematic things. So if we're taking that standard, that just because somebody used to support Obama, now they're not credible, now that casts doubt on everything they say, then the stuff that Yvette Carnell has said in support of Bernie Sanders, how anti-racism is trash, talking about racism is trash, the whole ADOS movement is developed or built on the fact that racism was occurring. That's the whole reason why the ADOS movement exists. It's based on the fact that racism was happening. That's how you get a wealth gap. That's how you get bottom. Do you think it was a coincidence? Do you think it was an accident that the middle black family had 1,700 uh, uh, wealth and all these stats that Tone and Yvette talked about? This is why I keep harping on not understanding white supremacy, because white supremacy is the whole reason why you had to make an ADOS movement. But don't tell me about because I admitted that I voted for Obama. Yvette Carnell was voting for Bernie Sanders in 2016 when he was straight up shitting on reparations. So how are you trying to tell me about Tone not voting for Obama and how somehow what does Tone understand that I don't? What do I understand that Yvette doesn't, since I knew not to vote for Bernie in 2016 but she didn't? So this is trolling. But anyway, fam, and again, this is exactly what Roland said. The last thing I want to say, and again, go listen to the whole video. I don't have the energy to respond to every little point he made in that video. I just wanted to respond to the key distractions and deflections. The last thing I want to say is he said he started talking this babble about how we have to vote for Democrats because we got to get the people in that's actually going to pass reparations. This is exactly word for word what came out of Roland Martin's mouth. That we got to vote for the Democrats because they the only people who going to pass reparations if we ever get it. So again, at the end of the day, long story short is, if nobody presents a black agenda, vote for Democrats no matter what, and hope that they will pass an agenda, even though you keep showing them that you're going to give them your vote no matter what. Because remember, we got to vote if some policy, if some politician, if some one councilman in a state that you don't even live in that actually does have a black agenda. So we got to vote Democrat down ballot no matter what. And then I know they're going to say, no, we didn't say you got to vote Democrat down ballot. Then why are you keep calling that? Why is that what came out of Tone's mouth on video in part 1? Why is that what's on the screenshot in all 3 parts of my video? Democrat down ballot. And again, that's why I said I know that there are caveats and explanations, but they are double talking explanations to explain why the operation isn't exactly what you just said it was. But anyway, fam, I just wanted to make this video real quick on a work break. Just respond and get this out the way because I can't keep going back and forth. I'm probably it's a very very good chance I'm gonna block and delete dude if he keeps trolling me with these non sequiturs and distractions and showing that he's just desperate to argue with me and he's desperate to be contrarian no matter what I say. And I'm not gonna go back and forth with somebody like that, dude. If you're just going to be contrary to whatever I say, then you don't need to be subscribing to my channel. Just classify me as an idiot and don't ever come to my channel. Because if you don't and you keep trolling me, I'm going to block you. But anyway, like, share, subscribe, family. That's another video. Peace.